Hi, I'm Lise Leblanc, therapist, author, and life coach. And today I want to talk about 10 specific toxic behaviors that you will often see in a relationship with a female covert narcissist. So, number one is using emotional crises to control you. Covert narcissists often use their vulnerability and fragility to gain attention, to manipulate outcomes, especially when they're feeling threatened. Unlike grandiose narcissists who lash out aggressively, covert types often appear helpless. So they use emotional breakdowns, sadness, anxiety, stress, overwhelm, not just as expressions of distress, but as a form of indirect control. So she's not yelling or demanding necessarily, but now her suffering and her crises are the focus and the center of everything. And these crises often pop up at key moments. So when you set a boundary, when you make progress, when you experience success, when you have other plans, and you will be expected to abandon whatever you've got going on to take care of whatever crisis she's got going on. Number two is hidden motives and partial truths. Covert narcissists rarely lie in overt, obvious ways. Instead, they tell half-truths, leaving out important details and being vague. And this ambiguity allows her to maintain control over the narrative, leaving you uncertain and questioning whether you're misinterpreting her words, her behavior, and her intentions. This subtle form of manipulation makes it look like you're the one who can't get things straight, or you're the one who can't accurately remember details. And it makes it a whole lot easier for her to shift blame and create confusion, making her appear like the misunderstood victim while you're left second guessing yourself and questioning your own reality. Number three is framing herself as a super empath. Many covert narcissists claim to be highly empathetic, but their empathy is very self-referential, meaning it's focused on them and how they feel, not on what others are actually experiencing. So even when her behavior causes you harm and you express this to her, she flips it around and makes it about her and her feelings. Instead of acknowledging the hurt she's caused, she might say something like, "You're making me feel like I'm a terrible person," or, "Wow, I guess I'm always the problem." And these responses are designed to reverse the victim offender role, making you feel guilty for bringing up your needs, concerns, and rights. By painting herself as the caring, empathetic, wounded, most misunderstood person in the world, she avoids accountability while protecting her victim empath image. That's why conversations with a covert narcissist tend to leave you feeling incredibly confused, guilty, responsible for her emotional state, and maybe even questioning whether you're being selfish. Number four is gossip, triangulation, and smear campaigns. So this is rooted in envy. Covert narcissists rarely attack directly. Instead, they use others as pawns to destabilize your sense of reality. And one of their favorite tactics is triangulation, subtly comparing you to others, confiding in a third party behind your back, or bringing in the opinions of others to validate their feelings and opinions and to discredit yours. Sure, she'll act like she's just looking for support or processing her feelings, just venting, but you will notice over time that these tactics are driven by insecurity, jealousy, competition, and envy, and it's used to regain attention, admiration, and to control the narrative. Number five is entitlement disguised as vulnerability. A covert narcissist may frame expectations as needs, but it's often about getting you to accommodate her without any reciprocity. So she won't storm in demanding what she wants. Instead, she drops hints. She implies her expectations around your time, your attention, your resources, and she frames it as needing support, just asking for a little bit of understanding, or being stressed and in a vulnerable place. And at first, you want to give. You rearrange your plans, you offer more attention, you provide financial help, you take on emotional responsibility, and it feels good. But over time, you realize that the needs never end. And the more you give, the more is expected. And there's just no limit. You give an inch, they take a mile, they take 10 miles. There's little gratitude and little reciprocation. Just this expectation that you need to deliver and punishment when you don't. Number 6 is disguised criticism. So a covert narcissist will often disguise her criticism as concern or as helpful advice. She'll approach situations with a tone of being worried about your well-being, but it's actually a very thin veiled attack on your choices, your appearance, your behavior, and your character. So while it might sometimes seem caring on the surface, the underlying message is always critical, making you feel inadequate, incapable. And over time, this constant guidance, questioning, and mischaracterization erodes your confidence, and it diminishes your sense of autonomy and self-worth. Number 7 is the complete inability to take in feedback. No matter how gently or respectfully you bring up a concern, it's taken as an attack. She shuts down emotionally, physically withdraws, gives you the cold shoulder without any explanation. This silence is a powerful weapon, and it's one of her favorites. And it leaves you in a constant state of uncertainty. And if you try to call out the behavior, you'll be met with gaslighting. She'll deny that anything's wrong, or she will blame you, turning it into how you've hurt her, suggesting that you're emotionally immature or abusive just for trying to communicate, resolve an issue, or set a boundary. Over time, you learn not to say anything because trying to talk about things only makes it worse. Number 8 is conditional affection. A covert narcissist's affection and emotional availability depends on one thing. Are you doing what she wants when she wants you to do it? When she's getting her way, she may be sweet, nurturing, and appear completely normal. But the moment you push back or express a need, that coldness sets in. And this makes the relationship feel very transactional, where the affection is something that you have to earn through compliance and submission. It can create a lot of insecurity because a covert narcissist's love is unpredictable and contingent on how they feel you're doing and how well you're serving them in that moment. So you start to feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly trying to figure out how to keep their affection and approval. Number 9 is the double bind. With a covert narcissist, you are always wrong no matter what you do. If you speak up, you're too harsh. If you stay quiet, you're too distant. If you try to help, you're controlling. If you back off, you're abandoning. It's just a no-win situation. Number 10 is the fixer's trap. And this is the final hook. Covert narcissists attract partners who want to help, who believe that with enough love, support, compassion, patience, things will get better. And you will see the wounded little girl in her. And you will believe you can reach her. You become convinced that if you just do enough, she'll finally feel safe and everything will settle back down. But it doesn't, because the more you give, the more you're pulled into this cycle of emotional labor, confusion, and self-abandonment. So you keep hoping there will be a turning point, a breakthrough, a moment when she finally says, I see that I've been hurting you. But here's the truth. She doesn't see herself as having a problem. She doesn't have that self-awareness, and she doesn't want to change. She wants you to adapt and to continue serving and supplying her. So if you're with someone like this, someone who is narcissistic, who makes you feel like a villain just for having needs, who always sees herself as the victim and always expects you to serve her and never takes accountability, then I strongly suggest reaching out to a therapist in your area who specializes in narcissistic personality disorder and narcissistic abuse. You may also want to check out my toxic relationship recovery program that I linked in the description section of this video. To learn more about the toxic tactics of a female covert narcissist, please click on the link above.